Hey, it's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the Coach. Today we have a question from our friend Jonathan. Jonathan says, when should a martial artist engage in a street fight? Please cover topics like provocation and anxiety. For example, you are worried someone is going to hit you. Thanks. I just keep my questions short now. Ha ha. Okay, thank you for keeping the questions short and to the point. A lot of people send me questions and write their entire life story and their whole 10-page street fighting resume or something like that. As a short background on me, please allow me to share a novel with you. And I look through that whole thing for a question mark, and there isn't one. And I'm like, this isn't actually a question. I don't know how to respond to this. So I appreciate the short, brief question. When should a martial artist engage in a street fight? Never. Never. What is a street fight? Let's establish some vocabulary terms right here. A street fight, and you may disagree with my definition, but I'm going to define it. When I say street fight, here's what it is. It's two guys getting mad at each other. Usually they are drunk. Two guys getting mad at each other and shouting angry words at each other. There's a posturing phase. Oh, I'm better than you. No, you think you're better than me. Then they start pushing. And the pushing turns into shoving, and the shoving turns into swinging haymakers, and those haymakers wrap around the heads, and then what happens? They grab each other in schoolyard bully headlocks, and they tumble to the ground and pretend they know how to wrestle for a minute until they're tired out, and they have given up all hope of going on, but they look up, hoping, I hope my friend comes over and pulls us apart, giving us a face-saving exit because I ran out of gas a minute ago. That's a street fight. And generally that's what happens. Their friends standing back up like, stand up like men, or, stop hitting each other. Break it up, guys. It's all posturing, man. That's all that is, posturing. So when should a martial artist do that? Never. Now, please do not mistake a street fight with what is called an aggravated assault. A lot of people assume that when we're talking about street fights, we're talking about aggravated assaults. Let's say, for example, you are minding your own business, walking down the street, and unprovoked, a maniac jumps out of the shadows and tries to hurt you. That's not a street fight, that's an assault. Now, a fight may actually happen as a result. It may even be on the streets. But that's an aggravated assault. Somebody comes out with a weapon, tries to kill you with that weapon. Somebody tries to shoot you. That's not a street fight. That's an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Man, that's a serious crime in progress. When should a martial artist engage in that? Well, if you're on the receiving end, you don't really have a choice in the matter because it's something that's been thrust upon you. But if you're looking at the other side of the equation, when should you assault people? Never. When should you engage in self-defense? When you are attacked? When you are defending yourself, defending others? Or, in some countries, that is also defined as defending your property. China is an interesting case as far as self-defense goes. There was a story a number of years ago about this woman, and there were these thieves riding a scooter. And the thieves on the scooter rode past, snatched her purse, and began to drive off. She jumped in her car, chased them down, and mowed them down, killing one of them, seriously injuring the other. And then she got her purse back. And, she killed this guy. Deliberately killed this guy who stole her purse by running him over and seriously injuring the other. Now, in some countries, this would be seen as manslaughter, maybe even murder to some degree. But in China, this was ruled as justifiable self-defense, and here's why. Because a crime was still in progress as she used the violent action to defend her property. Self-defense is a legal term, my friends. Self-defense is a legal term. The best self-defense, consult your lawyer and learn what self-defense laws are in your country, in your jurisdiction, in your state, in your province, wherever you live. And you might be surprised by what self-defense actually is legally where you are from, and what it isn't. Provocation. So you wanted some specifics. Please cover provocation and anxiety. Okay. I'm guessing, I could be wrong about this, but I'm guessing that Jonathan is a younger guy. Younger guys are always thinking about fights, man. Always thinking about fights and always anxious about it, experiencing anxiety. You're walking through a crowd of men and you look around and you're feeling like, oh, what if one of these guys wanted to fight me? Could I take him? Could I take that big guy? Maybe I could take that skinny guy over there. You're sizing people up. Get to the point in your life where you don't have to do that anymore. Where you feel comfortable walking into a room without feeling the need to size anybody up, or feel anxious like you might get into a fight. And if you're walking into rooms where you are feeling that type of anxiety, you're walking into the wrong kinds of rooms, my friends. I got a number of questions about clubs. So, what if I'm at the club and this happens? This terrible situation presents itself because these people are drunk and out of control and they're experiencing all this crazy anxiety and they're hyped up on whatever drugs they're taking and they are just bad people, and you know, you're in a bad environment. Get out of there. Don't frequent that type of place. You don't have to be there. Nobody's forcing you to be there. You will save yourself a world of trouble if you stay away from the demon alcohol, my friends. Yeah, you will, and it's not just the physical problems that come along with it, like damage to the liver and everything else associated with alcohol consumption. It's the social aspect of it. When I started fighting, when I started competing professionally in kickboxing, all of the kickboxing events were held at these seedy clubs and bars, and the crowds there were really interesting. That was a whole different type of environment, man. Like sometimes after the fights, the people in the crowd seemed to want to fight the fighters, man. It was strange. I had a fight once where I won, and this guy comes up, gets up in my face like, oh, so you think you're better than me, huh? Like, leave me alone. I just fought. I got bruises, got a broken ankle here. Yeah, man. It brews trouble, man. It brews trouble. There are people out there who can go to a bar or go to a club and have a beer and be just fine. And there are a lot of people who can't. And you cannot count on the fact that when you go to a place like that, it will be filled with people who can handle themselves. This is probably sounding preachy, man. Probably sounding preachy. Good. Maybe you need some preaching today. Provocation. I've had a lot of questions and heard a lot of questions and seen a bunch of videos about self-defense covering a situation that wasn't actually self-defense. Where two guys, here's the scenario, two guys are eyeing each other. Nothing's being said, and one of them suspects that the other guy might punch him, might hurt him, might pull out a weapon. He might do something. He doesn't know, but he might do something. And so he preemptively strikes. He preemptively hurts this guy. Why are you hanging out with that guy in the first place, man? Why are you hanging around people that you don't feel safe around? Why are you wasting your life spending your time, which is the only thing that you have in this world, with people who cause you anxiety, who make you worry, is this person my friend or my foe? Is this person going to cause me bodily harm? Is he going to pull out a knife and stab me? I don't know. Do you have a choice in that matter? Do you have a choice in where you stand in this world? Yes, you do. And if you think you don't, make some radical changes. Do some self-evaluations. I'm constantly asked, Ramsey, do you meditate? Meditate means to think deeply about something. Heck yes, I do. Constantly. Does that mean sit cross-legged like a yogi going, No, man, no. Meditate day and night, like the good book says. My friends, meditate day and night. That means think deeply about things. What things? Things you need to change. Things you need to cut out of your life. Things you need to sacrifice in exchange for something better. Don't come at me with this idea of, oh, well, I have to put myself in these terrible situations. Oh, but I need to live in the gutter. Oh, but I need to live in constant fear of people pulling out knives. No, you don't. If you think you do, think deeply until you think differently. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.